So many freaking thoughts going through my head right now. I don't even know where to start. Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Amanda. I make videos about movies, TV shows, books, and writing, and sometimes just other stuff that's on my mind. I know I've been doing a pretty significant amount of SVU content as of late, but look, a lot of shit's going down. So Warren Light recently did an interview with E! Online on which he discussed, a number of things. Diversity on the show, LGBTQ characters, and he kind of alluded to, couple things. First of all, that Kat is going to be revealing herself to be Lebanese later on in the season, which I think is amazing. I really hope that the way they bring that up, that it's not done passively, but also not done in a way that just makes it such a huge freaking deal. Even though it is a big deal that there's more diversity on screen with regard to that show, I still, do you know what I mean? I don't think it should be, oh, look, we have a person who's Lebanese. That would be kind of the same as oh, look, we have someone who's Asian, or oh, look, we have someone who's black. It's just why? They're people too. And yes, it's amazing that we're seeing this shake up with regard to the diversity on the show, but I hope that it's not made such a big deal. No, more in light, I don't think it will be. I mean, he hasn't done that in the past, at least not that I've noticed. If you've noticed, please, down below. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about that though. What I do want to talk about is his comments regarding LGBTQ characters, and specifically what he said about Rollins and Carisi. Now, for those of you who watch this show, obviously, we did see at the end of episode 10, which I will have some thoughts coming up on that. I didn't hate it, but there were, whatever. Anyway, not this video. But at the end of episode 10, we did see Rollins and Carisi have a moment where Rollins kind of broke down, and Carisi was there for her. He comforted her and was basically a really good friend. But of course, some people took that to mean that they're pushing for a romantic dynamic between the two. I mean, everybody's got their own thoughts on this, but this is what Warren Light had to say, which I thought was very interesting. I hope to, at some point, delve a little more into Carisi. What's going on there? And it got me to thinking. For those of you, again, who watch the show and were watching it back in the Warren Light days, or the original Warren Light days, I should say, because we back in the Warren Light days, bitch. But if you remember correctly, there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not they were kind of trying to suggest that sonnycarisi was maybe bisexual or gay, or maybe just unsure and kind of figuring out his sexuality on screen without actually figuring out, without blatantly saying that he was trying to figure out his sexuality on screen. Peter Scandavino and that damn subtext. It's the eyes, I tell you. So anyway, somebody that I follow on Twitter said the following. Earlier in the year, Warren Light said the queer would come later, towards the middle of the season. I don't remember when he said this, but I've been hanging on to it for months, so I'm fairly certain it's true. Let's just believe, okay? Girl, same. Who's also coming back in the middle of the season? Pickgate. So then Warren Light goes on to talk about the relationship between Rollins and Carisi, which is kind of a complicated one, and it's a very special bond that these two have. I have a theory as to why, but I'm going to get into that in a second. But he talks about the possibility of there being a third leg to form a love triangle, and I think that that's very interesting. Now, there was somebody on Twitter who pointed out that he used a very, very careful language with regard to describing their relationship status, Carisi and Rollins respectively. And he says, neither of them seems to be involved with anybody. And look, he created both characters, so if he had it in his head that they're both single, he would just say they're both single, but he didn't. So the same person posited that perhaps when Barba comes back, which Warren Light did mention that he's hoping will be maybe at the beginning of the third act or the end of the second act. I think it was the beginning of the third act. Before the third act begins. So tail end of the second act. Why would he specifically mention Carisi when talking about the LGBTQ representation on the show, which has yet to come to fruition? I mean, we haven't had an openly gay or LGBTQ character who is a regular since BD Wong. I mean, I guess you could count Ken, but Ken has been kind of in and out. He hasn't really been a regular on the show. Ken is a recurring character, but he's not there often. So we never really delve into Ken's experience so much when he is on the show. We do a little bit through Finn, but it's really through Finn. It's not firsthand through the eyes of Ken. It's kind of through the eyes of Finn as he's experiencing it. But anyway, this has been something that people have been asking for years. I mean, basically since BD Wong left, I'm pretty sure. So I thought it really interesting that he would specifically mention Carisi, because there are several instances that you can point out in seasons 13 through 17, or I guess in 16 through 17, because Carisi came in season 16, where Carisi has basically insinuated that either A, he's not straight, or B, he's questioning his sexuality. I think maybe a little bit of both. I mean, there is one scene in particular where all of the cheerleaders for a gay or bisexual Carisi were basically rejoicing. And it's this one.
You can't imagine. You can't imagine how many times I have knelt and prayed to be relieved of this weakness. Yes, I can.
Basically made this character assessment unofficially official. So she posited that Barba coming back might be that third leg. And I gotta say, that would be so interesting. First of all, I strongly think that there is a basis for both Rollins, that would be Barba and Rollins, and there's also a much stronger, but there's a strong basis for Barisi, Barba and Carisi. There's also those people who do believe that there's a basis for Ralisi. I personally don't think so, for a multitude of reasons, which I won't get to in this specific video. But I could see how it could maybe be mistaken for that kind of, not attraction, that kind of affection, especially from Rollins, because Rollins is not in a mentally good place. I'm sure there was a point in time where she thought that maybe she was falling in love with Nick, which obviously did not last because Nick was a friggin' hothead. Let's be real, he was freaking Elliot 2.0. He was great though, I love Nick. But Rollins is not in a well enough place to really know what it is that she wants, first of all, and secondly, what being in a healthy relationship means for her. So I definitely see how there could be some feelings there that she's maybe mistakening for something else. I'm not really sure that I would buy it going the other way, but I mean, I think in a certain sense, Warren Light could sell that maybe Sonny feels that way or felt that way at one time. Anyway, my point is that I think it would be super interesting if Barba was that third leg. Because, first of all, those dynamics, I mean, whoo. So having Barba be that third leg in the triangle would just, I don't know, take kind of that cliched love triangle to the next level. Because there is potential for any one of the combinations to work. I personally, if I had my pick, I would go, my first choice would be Barisi, my second choice would be Barallins, or Ballins, as I like to call it. And then I guess my last choice, like if we have to, then would be Ralisi. I don't think it's really necessary to, have like a romance, but I would really love it to be a gay romance. I mean, really. Because Ralivia, as much as I love that idea, I think at this point, I mean, we can basically exclude that from the equation. Kabenson, I still think there's hope. But anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Also, Robert Burke is coming back next week. Well, next episode. Oh my god. I freaking loved him as Ed Tucker. And you know what? I hated that they broke them up. And so what was it, season 18 that they broke them up? It was so stupid too. It was like, one minute they were great, man. It looked like he was going to propose at the end of 17. And I think in one version of the end, he did propose. And then in freaking 18, it was like somebody had flipped a coin or something. You know what it was? I think the characters were replaced with like pod people for season 18. Yeah, I don't know. One thing is for sure, I'm pretty positive that we can count on a Barba comeback. If not this season, before the third act, for sure next season. I mean, Warren Light and Raul Esparza have worked together before. They worked together on Leap of Faith. Obviously, they worked together on SVU, when they were both on SVU. And I think that Warren Light just really wants to bring back those threats somehow. And I think there's room for him to. I honestly think that it's not very much not very much space, but I do think he's got the space to kind of play with the possibilities there. And I don't know, man, as a writer myself, I would be so sad not to finish an arc like that, because it looked like it was going to be a pretty epic fucking arc, man. And Barba had never gotten his own arc before. Like, he had one with the whole, like, Yelena and Alex Munoz thing, but it only lasted an episode. You know, he had never had, like, more than one episode dedicated to a full arc for him. And I thought it was going to change the Barisi dynamics again, you know? And I don't know, I used to love their dynamics. Oh my god. But I'm pretty sure we can count on it for 2 reasons. 1, Pickgate. 2, Carisi does mention Barba in the very first episode, and he does it in the very first scene. And yeah, it's in passing. Yeah, if you're not, you know, I mean, you might miss it. But that smells like foreshadowing to me. I think the closer that we get to the 3rd act, we're going to see a few more references of Barba. I don't think it's going to be like blatant, like, you know what I mean? They're like, nobody's going to walk in like waving one of his, you know, ties or whatever, like, woo! Sassy ADA day! But I do think that there's going to be some more references to Barba, either through Carisi or through other characters. And it would be really nice to see Raul and Mariska on the same screen again. And it would be freaking epic if we had to see Peter Scannavino and Raul Esparza on screen again. And if he does come back, I wonder if Warren Leight is going to broach the subject of the fact that Carisi and Barba never had like a proper on-screen goodbye, if you would. But he could also play that off as they didn't have to have an on-screen, you know, goodbye, because they did stay in touch, or, you know, they were really good friends at that point, so they didn't really feel the need. They knew they would see each other at another time, or they were like already dating or married, so they knew they'd just see each other at home. Who cares? I don't know. I mean, I think he could play, there's so much that he could play with Barba's return. And I mean, I say return obviously lightly. I would love it if Raul Esparza came back like for a good long while. You know, maybe like a season or 7. But I think we can expect him for at least 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3. I don't know. I really don't know. It'd be really cool if Warren Leight did a 3-part episode. How would that play though? Like, how would that play? Because I don't know if he's ever done a 3-part episode. I think most of his arcs, like longer, more than 1 episode arcs, have been 2 episodes. I don't think he's ever done 3-episode arc. I don't know how that would play. But anyway, I am super excited to see where this season goes. There's going to be some shit going down with Olivia. I mean, when isn't there shit going down with Olivia? The chick's a mess. But there's some shit going down with Olivia where she sees Tucker for the first time after, I don't know, fucking years. I saw the trailer for the one that Robert John Burke is going to be on in a couple of weeks, and I gotta say, man, it looks fucking epic. It looks fucking epic. I am so excited. It looks like we're gonna get a little bit of pissy Olivia, and I gotta say, man, aside from determined Olivia, pissy Olivia is like one of my favorite Olivias, because she gets like this look in her eye, right, where like she's looking at you as if there's like daggers coming out, but also she's like looking into your soul to freaking like find the weak spot, right? And it looks like at any moment you could say the wrong thing and she will literally just snap your motherfucking neck. And I love it. I love pissy Olivia, because she gets that like really deadly look in her eye, but it's like all contained and shit. Mariska Hargitay, you fucking badass. I love her so much. What an epic character too, man. Fuck. Oh, woo! Sorry, I got It seems that Warren Leight really likes to kind of bounce ideas off of Mariska Hargitay too. I don't know how it was with Neil Bauer or like Michael Chernuchin or Ricky. But anyway, I don't know how it was with like other showrunners. I'm sure she probably had a similar dynamic, but it seems her and Warren Leight, man, I don't know what it is. It's like a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful partnership. He seems to have that with pretty much all of his actors though, and I love that. I really love that. I love that he lets them have input on like major character decisions, you know? It's like he's co-parenting with them. It's so fucking cute. So cute. I mean, just the fact that he let Kelly Giddish decide who Jesse's father was going to be, which I actually have a really far out there theory on Jesse's father. I mean, I know she said it was Murphy, but I've got a theory. Not that I wish this theory would come into fruition, but like, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, if you ever want to hear that theory, let me know. This is not the time. Anyway, that's all I got for you today, kids. Just me rambling about SVU. What can go wrong? Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ding that bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. I usually post on Wednesdays. Might be posting more often than just Wednesdays. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching again, though, and I will see you next time.